Wrestling champion Bajrang Punia is returning his Padma Award in solidarity with Sakshi Malik, who has announced her decision to quit the sport. I'm Barkha Dutt, you're with the Mojo story. These dramatic and devastating images earlier today showed Bajrang Punia approaching the area outside the Prime Minister's residence. There you can get a glimpse of his Padma Award, leaving that Padma Award there on the pavement. What a tragic, tragic image. Mr. Punia is expressing his solidarity and his protest at the developments that have taken place in the last 24 hours in the Wrestling Federation of India. Now remember, Bajrang Punia, Vinesh Phogat, Sakshi Malik are among sports people, men and women both, who have been protesting through the past year against BJP Member of Parliament Brij Bhushan Sharan, who is now formally accused in a charge sheet of 6 counts of sexual harassment, including stalking and molestation. Mr. Bhushan also has 4 other pending criminal cases against him, including attempt to murder. But when the elections were held to the Wrestling Federation, the winner was a proxy of Brij Bhushan Sharan, Sanjay Singh, who openly called Brij Bhushan Sharan his elder brother. Then this happened. Well, it just happened in the images before the ones you are seeing now. Sakshi Malik running out of a press conference weeping, saying, "I do not know how to get justice in our country." There was also a dramatic, poignant moment as Sakshi Malik picked up her boots and put them on the table to quite literally and metaphorically declare that she was hanging up her boots. Sanjay Singh, the new WFI chief, responded harshly, saying, "She's retiring not because of sexual protests." He told our colleague Saksham that she's retiring because she can no longer play, adding insult to injury. But let's go back to those images of Bajrang Punia returning his Padma Award, or at least announcing his intent to do so. The Delhi police stopped him from approaching, of course, the Prime Minister's office. He's written a letter to the Prime Minister, which he has since released in public. Joining us now is India's best sports journalist, Sharda Ugra, is with us to make sense of what's happening. It's a terribly sad day, irrespective of which party you vote for. If you're a sports lover, this has to break your heart. If you're a woman, this has to break your heart. Sharda, let me start with the latest development first. Bajrang wanting to approach the Prime Minister's residence and saying, "I'm leaving my medal, my Padma Award here. I don't want it anymore. It doesn't have the same meaning for me anymore." What do you make of these developments?
Like you're saying, Barkha, this is it's been a very sad sort of 24 to 36 hours after all this has happened. I think Bajrang Punia's decision to return his award is something that athletes don't do. It's not in their nature. They understand how they've earned these awards. They understand what it's taken them to get to where they have. So he must be really angry, really dejected that he's willing to do this. And I think it's a gesture of solidarity with the women wrestlers that he was fighting alongside in this protest, and we don't know where this will go in terms of like you were saying just before I responded that Vinesh and Sakshi both said we don't know how we to get justice in this country, and I think that is just the most heartbreaking thing you will hear. And these are top flight athletes, which is why it should just shake all of us to the core in that sense. It's a very sad day as a sports fan, as a sports journalist, all of that, to see that this is played out in the way that it has. Mind you, I'm not surprised that Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh won his election, or his proxy or whatever won his election. However.
Yeah. So, you're virtually calling Sanjay Singh his proxy, and we also saw celebrations. Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh was wearing a mountain of marigold, as I call it, and he was saying, "Ye pehlwano ki jeet hai," on the very day that the first female wrestler, and if I'm not wrong, the only female wrestler to win a medal at the Olympics, was basically announcing a decision to quit sports. Now, I mean, kaha ki pehlwano ki jeet hai? Now, I want to play out for you what Sanjay Singh, his proxy, said to my colleague Saksham. Just a 1-minute clip, and I'll come back to you, where he's arguing कि ये रिटायर तो इसलिए हुए हैं क्योंकि अब ये खेल ही नहीं सकते. So I just want to play this out and I want your comment on it. Listen it.
साक्षी मलिक हमारे हिसाब से कुश्ती नहीं लड़ पा रही थी, उसको अपना पता लगा हो कि हम नहीं लड़ पा रहे हैं इसलिए छोड़ दी.
पर सर उनके साथ
अगर वो
रेसलर्स भी थे,
बाकी किसी रेसलर ने तो नहीं छोड़ा. कोई रेसलर नहीं, वहाँ 3 रेसलर्स केवल थे, साक्षी मलिक, विनेश फोगाट. हम लोग कुश्ती को बढ़ाने के लिए काम करेंगे. जो भी जैसे ट्रायल का जो नियम बनाया गया था, ट्रायल करा करके हर पहलवान को देंगे, और कल से पूरे देश में सारे पहलवानों में बहुत खुशी है. सारे अखाड़ों पे पहलवान खुशी मनाए हैं। हम लोगों ने अपना तुरंत वादा किया था कि इसी एक कैलेंडर ईयर में जूनियर और अंडर 15 का नेशनल करा देंगे। उसका भी कर हम लोगों ने सर्कुलर जारी कर दिया सारे स्टेट को। अब तो कोर्ट में चल रहा है ना, हम उसके लिए तो उत्तरदायी नहीं ना है। हम जज नहीं ना कि उनको सजा देंगे, क्या करेंगे। सारा मैटर कोर्ट में चला गया और ये लोकतंत्र है, इसमें सब लोग अपने सब कुछ करने के लिए स्वतंत्र हैं। हम 40 वोट पा करके, मत पा करके आए हैं। खास और न खास ये क्या होता है? लोकतंत्र से हमने पर्चा भरा है, हमारा पर्चा वैलिड हुआ है, सुप्रीम कोर्ट के आदेश पे चुनाव हुआ है और उनके ऊपर ये भी झूठा एलिगेशन लगाया जा रहा है। कल ही उन्होंने नई फेडरेशन को पूरा हैंडओवर कर दिया। अब की नई फेडरेशन आई, नई फेडरेशन पूरा चलाएगी। उनको 12 साल कुश्ती का अनुभव है। हम लोगों को कहीं अगर ज़रूरत होगी कि उनसे राय लिया जाए, कुश्ती के लिए उनसे राय लिया जाएगा। बाकी कल ही उन्होंने पूरी सारी स्टेट फेडरेशन को बुला करके हैंडओवर कर दिया कि नई फेडरेशन आ गई, नया फेडरेशन। अब ये लोग नए अध्यक्ष हैं, नए सचिव हैं, नई पूरी फेडरेशन है। ये लोग अपना कारभार संभालें, कारभार चलाएं।
Is it a new federation, as he claims?
It's a literally is one that all sports federations elections are held like this. You know, they are very one-sided and they tend to have a political strong man, not even strong person, that is there, that works like this. So the result of the election is not surprising. The fact that he has tossed aside Sakshi's career and said that she can't compete anymore, it could be that she can't, but the point is that she may want to continue competing. It doesn't mean that if she hadn't trained and she would not have been able to put up some kind of a performance or turn up at trials. So this is just the typical attitude that sports the strong guys in sport and officials in sport have towards athletes, that they are dispensable, that their rights don't matter, that their their physical self doesn't matter in that sense, that they can be easily replaced. And that's what our sport has been churning around for the last many decades, that you just toss the athletes aside because there's so much talent that keeps coming to the fore. But this is, so far Sakshi is the only woman in the last 13, will be into the 14th year, who has won an Olympic medal in wrestling.
The other allegation, as you can see from the images that comes from the BJP, is that this is a Congress-supported protest. And in particular, Mr. Huda's family, based out of Haryana, the Congress leaders who met with the family today, this is mentioned again and again by the BJP, that this is not a women's movement that is devoid of party politics. Of course, I would argue that is neither here nor there. We should be talking about the chart sheet. But the fact is that this comes up again and again and again, that this is not an organic, spontaneous people's movement or women's movement. This is politically remote controlled by the Hudas. That's what the BJP says again and again. What do you think?
I mean, the political parties can say that the other side is supporting these athletes that are standing up to them. But for a fact, that the sexual harassment, bullying of young athletes, male and female, exists in Indian sport. This is the first time. I mean, even if they were supported by whichever political party they were supported, as have athletes from the BJP, as have athletes been supported by the BJP and had careers, or political careers, why would they be sitting in the summer and being, sort of cosseted in the little space, kept away from public access to the protest side? Why would they do all this? What are they? They're not trying to bring down the government. All they're saying is that we want our women, our athletes to be protected. We want the federation to run better than it does. And we all know that our sports federations are run in a very shoddy manner. No matter what Mr. Singh was saying about everyone, all wrestlers are celebrating. I want to know how many how many families would want to send their young girls into wrestling. I mean, ever since the 2010 Commonwealth Games, where the Fogart sisters won their medals, wrestling has had a massive change in Haryana, and you've seen so many young girls turn up and want to compete and want to be there. There's training and they take part in the akhadas, and they train in the akhadas. That could entirely be turned around, but no one's thinking of that. Everyone's thinking of, my territory, I've got the territory back and it's fine. This is the first time in the history of Indian sport that top athletes have come out and challenged the federation. It happened in badminton in the early mid-90s, but this is the first time you're seeing it against a specific political figure, and that's why the backlash has been so severe.
What happens now in the end? Do you think earlier we saw Sakshi and Vinesh, threatening to return their medals. And, we had Mr. Tikayat who was able to intervene and say, ruko, ruko, ruko. Now you have Bajrang who has declared and even tried to leave that medal, the Padma Award on the pavement. This is a devastating picture. Do you think there is still some mediation, something that can take place, or is this all over? Is this how Sakshi Malik's Olympian career is going to end? On this note, is this how Bajrang Punya's career is going to end?
I think there's definitely fear that it will happen. I mean, Vinesh and Bajrang are top wrestlers in their category in the country, and very few young upcoming wrestlers can challenge them in that sense. Sakshi is a slightly older athlete, so you don't know. But the fact that this will come to this sort of a situation where like Sakshi pointed out, that there's no single woman in that new wrestling federation that has been put up. There's not even a token gesture made towards having sort of inclusivity, having a female person there, somebody to talk to. So it's literally just a solidifying of an old sort of patriarchal sort of setup of running the sport as it is. And you're seeing that Mr. Singh's challenger was a female athlete, a Commonwealth Games winner, who wanted to make the sport safe for young people. And she was defeated in this election. So elections should not be the way that our sports are run, through elections. Our sports should run through separate professional management. That is what our sports federation officials don't want. They don't want management, independent, salary paid management people to run. They want to be able to control everything, and that's why we are in this kind of a situation.
Before we
Nobody cares
let
about
you,
the president.
yeah, I think
Yeah,
it's
sorry.
staggering to think that there are no women in the federation after everything that has happened in the newly elected federation. That is a big statement.
And one more thing,
I want to
very
ask you.
quickly, very quickly. Yeah,
Yeah.
there needs to be there is no grievance redressal mechanism for these young athletes, So the fact that they have come out and sat on the road and protested, there's no route that these athletes can take when ever something like this happens. Who do they complain to? They go to the sports ministry. It's basically dead back, responded to the dead back. They can't complain because the president is the person they're complaining against. So you're looking at the situation in which all our athletes face this, all across the board, all across a lot of sports, majority, So this is where we are. Who do they go to if something like this happens? Bullying, sexual harassment, sexual abuse. Where do they go? And we're in the same place where we were in January.
And that's the point. The year has ended exactly where it started. Before we let you go, the PTI reports, quoting sports ministry sources, saying it's Bajrang Punya's personal decision to return the Padma. In other words, there's going to be probably no overt attempt, at least, to dissuade him from doing this. As someone who's covered sports all of your life and continues to do so, how rampant is sexual harassment as an underbelly of the sporting world, in particular for women, but I imagine also for young boys?
I think that because our sports administration is so badly run, like 80% of the federations are run very shoddily, and I'm saying 80, and I'm being generous when I'm saying 20 are run well. That there is no way that you can act, because there is no grievance redressal mechanism. You would imagine that because of the power dynamic that exists in sport, fundamentally to begin with, the coach and the young athlete, and the official. It's a very common thing. It's not uncommon. It's not something that we are surprised to hear about. The fact that this was talked about, and that these big names came out and spoke, that is what was the game changer in the situation. It hasn't really changed the game, but it sort of changed the texture of the conversation and how people see what our sports systems are like. And the fact that the athletes are doing this, saying we're quitting, returning the medals, is just showing you that what our sports administration actually means underneath all the medals and celebrations.
But here's the unfortunate bit, that on the one hand, you have, I guess, a government that has decided that the charge sheet has been framed and now we're not going to get involved in anything else. And you have the opposition that has completely jumped onto this issue. Priyanka Gandhi Vadra is at Sakshi Malik's house. The irony is that the more the opposition jumps in, the less responsive the government is probably going to be. Can we end with just pausing to think about the loneliness of Sakshi Malik at this point, at this hour?
I mean, I cannot even imagine what it is to be in this situation for her, and how heartbreaking it is, and the things that she has put up with to be the athlete of the kind that she is. And she's a very rare athlete that has come out and spoken and been the spokesperson for this protest. We saw that Vinesh was really crying yesterday, because Vinesh knew the full impact of what is happening. It's very terrifying, and it's very scary. But I have a feeling that in the next 20-30 years, we'll see Sakshi's career and what she has done as something quite extraordinary. There are other sort of lines we can go into, but about the Indian Olympic Association and so on. But let's not go there because the sports ecosystem has failed her in that sense, and she was a part of it, and she believed in it, and she gave to it, of her time and her energy and all the rest of it. And now she's left in this place. So I don't know what is going to happen over the next, say, month or so, but I think in about 10-15 years we'll just look at her career quite differently as to what she was able to be as a public face of something that is very common in Indian sport.
Terribly sad. Sharda Ugra, thank you for helping us make sense of it. And yeah, let's. I don't see any happy endings here. Sakshi has opted out. Bajrang is returning his Padma. Vinesh is weeping. And I think the important thing is what message, and this is sending to other young girls. And okay, these are the images from outside Sakshi's house, where there's, of course, a bevy of media. There's media sort of tamasha, sorry to call it that for my own profession, will focus, and then she'll be, for a couple of days, yes. And then she's a forgotten headline. She has to live with the loneliness of her career having ended in this way.
Yes. But the point, the other thing that we have to look at, Barkha, very, very quickly is what are the transition opportunities for our athletes? What do our women athletes do once their careers are over? Are they given a space to be administrators, to be coaches, to have power, to work with younger athletes? That doesn't exist because the women don't exist inside the system. And PT Usha, who's at the top of the IOA, she's just a figurehead in that sense. So, many things that are being heard about Indian sport, we are seeing it all take place.
Thanks, Sharda. Not a good day to be talking about women and our rights. But, as you said, I think in some ways, 10 years later, we'll look back at this moment, perhaps in a very, very different way. Thank you so much for your time and take care. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mojo Story has always made a commitment to its viewers to go to where the story is. And as you can see here, we are at the epicenter of the Israel war on Gaza. We are right at the front line, about 1 mile from the Gaza Strip, as the Israeli military gets ready with its tanks and its gunners to begin its final frontal assault that will take troops into Gaza. As we said, we are not like other organizations. We believe in giving you all sides of the story objectively and as much as possible from the ground. And that's exactly what we're doing here, covering the biggest global story today from the epicenter of the war zone. So please, we need your support. Support us, become a Mojo member, subscribe to us, spread the word, and thank you for your support.